Hey guys, C-Bones Airsoft here. A couple things I'm going to do in this video. One, I'm going to open and show you guys my new PatchClub patch that just came in the mail. Second, I'll be kind of going over the expenses for Revelations, the game I went to out in Virginia in December. I've been to a few games now that I've had to drive for a decent bit for, so I feel like I kind of have a decent grasp on expenses and what you want to budget for and what you need to be aware of for trips like that. Alright, so first of all, PatchClub, love these guys. They make some really awesome patches. This is the second year, so I think this is the first patch of the second year that I've been subscribed to them. I haven't looked at it yet. They usually have either some concept art or some art that's similar to what is going to be on the patch. All right, that is fantastic. There's a hopefully that's a good view for you guys. All right, so Revelations expenses and just general traveling for Airsoft expenses. There are definitely a few things you need to worry about, or not worry about. You shouldn't really worry about it. You should budget for it. There's a big difference there. First of all, obviously, you're going to need to pay for the event itself. You know, whether that's $60 for just some fairly small event, or if you're going to like American Milsim, you want to budget closer to $200, if not above that. You'll know beforehand how much the event is going to cost, so that isn't as much of an issue. So the biggest expense for me going out to Rev was gas. Driving about 2,000 miles from Madison, Wisconsin to Virginia and back, it definitely does add up pretty quickly. Now, the good thing about that is that it's actually one of the easiest things to budget for, considering that all you really need to do is take the miles that you're going to be driving to get to and from the game, divide that by whatever your vehicle gets for miles per gallon, and then multiply that by, pick a good middle ground for gas prices. Obviously, they're going to change, especially when you're on a longer trip. The longer your trip is, the more difference there will probably be in gas prices. So try to pick a good, middle ground average number for your gas there. Another actually potentially really big expense is lodging. If you're going to be just camping on the field, if it takes you one day to get there, one day to get back, you're camping on the field, then lodging is not going to be an issue. Your expense for lodging will probably be zero if you're just camping at the field. If it's a 2-day drive each way, you might end up wanting to get a hotel for those nights between when you're getting to your destination. It really depends on what you're willing to sacrifice on. Like, if you're really wanting to cut costs, just get like some cheap motel. That's an effective place to cut costs if you're really looking to do a low expense trip. Now, of course, you can't forget food. When you're traveling, chances are you're either going to want to prepare food ahead of time, or just count on making a couple stops a day at somewhere, fast food, somewhere that you can get your food and eat real quick, get back on the road, because you don't really want to be wasting time stopping at an Olive Garden or something fancy like that, or fancy. So personally, when it comes to eating at games, I'll usually just do like some instant oatmeal for breakfast. It's fairly simple. You just heat up some water, and you're really good to go. Energy bars, protein bars, those are great for lunches. Just being able to snack while you're out, either playing or quick stops back at your campsite or car. For dinners, I usually plan on eating out somewhere for dinner. Like when I was at The Rock for Medusa, there's this nice little pizza place that we kind of swamped. Like, we brought 70-some people into this place that could barely hold 60. It was really good food. But of course, with that many people, it takes them a bit to get your stuff to you. So one of those things where, like, yeah, it's fun to just go out with everyone, but there's a point where, you might want to split up a little bit. Also, big suggestion, get a couple of those 48-ounce Nalgene's, and you really want to pre-hydrate, because if you're anything like me, you're not really going to remember to hydrate at games, because you're playing. You're there to play. You're not there to sit out at your car drinking water. You're there to play. My suggestion, just bring as many like Nalgene or other water bottles and just down them as you go. Really do that, on your way there, even the day before you leave. Just really pre-hydrate. Your body needs water. That's one of the biggest mistakes people can make in Airsoft, is just not drinking water enough. So while I love soda and I drink more of it than I should, you really got to be drinking a lot of water before games. And of course, it is important, especially if it's a 2-day game, to continue drinking water during the game, but it is very, very helpful to pre-hydrate. So another thing that I didn't anticipate is tolls. Tollways. I paid, I believe, almost $50. I only have like 38 marked down here, but I also paid a decent amount in cash, and I expected having a few tolls to have to pay, but I did not expect to have to pay as many tolls as I did. Honestly, I'd suggest having like $25 to $35 in small bills and even some coins, just to be able to pay tolls that way. Now, if you don't want to carry around $50 in bills, you of course can usually pay them online after the fact, or get like a fast pass or whatever the state has. I wouldn't always suggest that, because the websites sometimes are a little clunky, a little hard to figure out. Maybe check it out beforehand. Check out if you are going to need to pay tolls in the first place, and if you are, I just suggest bringing a little bit extra cash, or planning on paying those tolls online pretty quick after the fact. Now, some other kind of random expenses that I think it pays to be aware of. Any sort of, say you're out of BBs, CO2, battery dies, maybe your iPro breaks. Had that happen at Medusa. Things like that do happen. So kind of on the Airsoft side of things, I would say it's very helpful. Maybe not important, but very helpful to have about $50, especially if there is a pro shop at the field. It's very nice to just be able to run over, hey, I forgot this at home, I forgot my sling, I forgot some BBs, I forgot a battery, I just need to buy one real quick. It's super easy at most places, because nowadays a lot of fields are running their own pro shops, which is very helpful. Final expense that I'd say you need to be aware of is not necessarily an expense, but it's what you're missing out on while you are going. Say you have to take 2 days of work off to go to an Airsoft game. You're leaving on Friday, coming back on Monday, so you have to take off both Friday and Monday to go to this game. Those 2 days that you are now not getting paid for, I would highly suggest working those into your budgeting. It's just another thing to keep an eye out on, is that opportunity cost of what else is going to this game going to cost me. Now, I'm not saying that any of these should prohibit you from going to a game, because I think that if this is a hobby that you're into, this is something that you really love to do, I think you should do it. It's not a matter of I got to do this, and there's this expense and this other expense, and no, if you want to do it, put in the effort. Just put in that extra little bit of work to budget and figure out what it's going to cost you, because it honestly, at the end of the day, it really does not cost that much to go to an Airsoft game. Well, thanks for watching. I hope this kind of helped you out. Maybe give you a better idea of what to kind of keep an eye on for going on trips to Airsoft games. Now, I haven't flown to games yet, so that's a whole nother animal that if and when I do fly to a game, I will probably make a video on, just kind of like, hey, these are the expenses that you need to be aware of, and that sort of stuff. I will be putting up some travel and gameplay footage from Revelations. It was a really fun game. The whole idea of it is really neat. They put on a fantastic game, and they've got some they've got some very committed people out there to the whole Fallout world building. So it was a lot of fun. I'm hoping to get back next year. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button. Consider subscribing if you like seeing some footage from Airsoft games. I do some reviews on occasion as well. Let me know if there's anything that you'd like me to touch on or review. I'm always I'm always interested in new stuff, and learning myself, and hopefully kind of translating some of that learning over to you guys. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys next.